Mr. Kustoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for appearing today. And it's a real honor to be here at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, and I'm sure you all would agree to that as well, being able to testify here. And to my understanding, this may be the first congressional hearing ever conducted at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. Mr. Timmons, if I could ask you for a moment, you conducted over the last couple of years, I know with your manufacturers, roundtables, listening sessions, as we were debating the expiration of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. If I can, specifically as it relates to the pass-through or non-C Corp manufacturers, two questions if I could. One, talk about the importance of certainty, the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill before the end of December 31, 2025, the fact that we did it in July versus waiting to the end of the year, the fact that it may have expired in toto. And then maybe if you can, for some of your member companies or some of the manufacturers, what would that have meant if this were, if these provisions would have expired at the end of December 2025?
Thank you for that. So one of the conversations that I know the chairman and I had many times was about the importance of businesses and specifically manufacturers who make major capital investments, their ability to plan into the future. And the conversation that I had with the chairman was, and I'm very happy that this bill did pass in July, because had it happened later in the year, we probably wouldn't have even had the ability to plan for 2026. Would have pushed those strategies out to 2027. So this has enabled American businesses and American manufacturers to make investment and hiring plans for 2026. The second part of your question was,
well, let me,
yeah, what was, I know what it was. If the bill had not passed, we did a study with EY, and they came up with the fact that if the bill had not passed, we would have lost 6 million jobs in the American economy. Over 1.1, I believe, of those would be manufacturing, but $500 billion in wage loss and about $1.1 trillion in lost GDP. So it was the lost opportunity cost that we were able to overcome by the passage of this bill and ensure that we were able to superpower the economy again, like we did in 2017 with the initial round of cuts.
Thank you, Mr. Timmons. Mr. Huff, thank you also for appearing today, and you've talked about your story and how you were able to acquire your company. I also want to ask you about this Section 199A, the small benefit deduction, because you talked about this in your testimony and in your written testimony. If we had not passed this bill and that had expired, what would that have meant to you? I mean, you talk about you've got some employees who have been with you for 20 years or longer. What would the expiration of Section 199A have meant to you, the small business deduction?
Specifically, for me, if it had not been continued and made permanent, I would not be able to even consider, with my circumstances, losing money for the last 5 years, et cetera, to consider doubling the size of my store, my best store, and hiring employees.
I mean, that's your point. If you can't expand, then you are not hiring employees. Thank you very much. Mr. Kessler, you talked about on a couple of different occasions the raising of the exemption for the death tax, what that meant to you. For a number of cattlemen across the country, and I represent a large ag district in Tennessee, pardon me for saying this like this, you can be asset rich and maybe not cash rich. If the exemption had not been raised, what would that have meant for the average cattleman if he or she had to face the state tax exemptions being lowered back to where they were prior to the enactment of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act?
Well, I can't overstate how significant that would have been, because
of the land values increasing across the whole country, let alone especially places like California, Colorado, New York, other places. Real estate values have increased so much, and you've got non-ag people that have successful businesses wanting to own a part of America, rural America, and so they come and pay over market compared to ag prices, and so it drives up the real estate values. And so to answer your question, having those exemptions lowered is so impactful to the breakup of a lot of family farms and ranches. And it's also bad for the environment. I haven't made that point yet today. When you start breaking up and fracturing farms and ranches across this country, that also hurts our environment, animal species, plant species. And that we don't talk about that part a lot, but it's also significant in addition to the ruination of family businesses.